0, 1. Let's get started.
Why they stopping me?
Bye, crypto bro.
What's going on, crypto world? It's that guy again, Ball Deep Crypto, coming at you with a little hypothetical piece here. You know what I mean? Let's go down the rabbit hole with Alice. Let's see what we got going here. See if we can find some things that maybe make sense and potentially what could be coming. Again, this is all a guess. Before we get into it, your boy Ball Deep Crypto is not a financial advisor. He's just a guy talking to a computer about things that interest him. What you do with your money is your choice. You make your own choice. I'm just telling you what I do with mine. Now let's get into it. As you can see here, we're going to start off with Double Agent at Stellar Dude, the dude abides, Double A. Shout out to you. We're going to be talking here about, of course, XLM, its ties to potentially X and XMoney and what they want to be doing in that space going forward. They've stated they want it to be an everything app. They want you to get your news, your shopping, your living, your RWAs, your tokenization, they want you to do everything there. They want you to live there. So let's dive a little bit into it. As you can see here, he says, interesting. X chooses Visa Direct to support payments. Excuse me. Visa Direct partners with Stripe. As we know, Stripe owns 2% of Stellar. An early investor, they own 2% of Stellar, so they are heavily invested in Stellar. Now, Stripe completes their X payments case study, a promising development for Stellar. Zoom in here. Linda says, another milestone for the Everything app at Visa is our first partner for the X at XMoney account, which will debut later this year. Allows for secure and instant funding for your X wallet via Visa Direct. Now, who does Visa Direct have on their page with them? Stripe, which we just talked about, who's partners with and owns 2% of Stellar. Now, X partners with Stripe, which we also, we just talked about, to help create additional income. So there we have it. The bridges, the connections, potential. Let's step over here and see what Double A has to say about this as well. Shout out to him if you're not following him. Give the man a follow. He's out here doing the dirt, the work. I'm just in here yapping about it. Now, PayPal received PYUSD support through Spark, means that Stellar has another way to tap into X payments when the time comes. As it stands, Stellar has 3 access points to X payments. Privy, which we've spoken about, Stripe, obviously we talked about, and PayPal we've talked about as well. All feed into Spark. As you can see here, PayPal's PYUSD stablecoin has attracted over $135 million in deposits since being listed on Sparkland, with the payment giant now announcing it will work with Spark to grow PYUSD's liquidity to $1 billion. As you can see, X payments, BitBit, Lightspark, Spark, which ties into Privy, and Stellar, which ties into Stripe, and Bridge, which are tied into Starlink. All of these connections, all of these bridges, all of these access points lead many to speculate that potentially there is a connection here. As we're going to dive into a little bit here, we've talked about how Jed McCaleb and Elon Musk, the PayPal mafia, Vast, SpaceX, it all kind of commingles. But we do it around here, so let's dive a little deeper. Okay, as we just talked about, Jed McCaleb's direct ties to Elon Musk. In the early 2000s, McCaleb was an early crypto pioneer, co-founded Mt. Gox in 2010, eBay's file-sharing precursor in 1999. But he has no direct Musk overlap then. Musk co-founded X.com in 1999, which merged into the PayPal mafia, including Musk, Peter Thiel, and Max Levchin. McCaleb wasn't in PayPal, but shared the era's P2P payments ethos. Musk's X.com was built for email-based transfers, mirroring McCaleb's later Ripple/Stellar vision of money at the speed of information. As you guys all know, McCaleb was the co-founder of Ripple and also the CEO and founder of Stellar. So that's that bridge. If you didn't know, now you know information. Who and what now? McCaleb is Stellar's CTO and founder of Vast, a space startup. Vast partnered with SpaceX in March of 2025 for the world's first private space station, with McCaleb funding the $1 billion plus project. Now, this isn't casual. Elon personally endorsed Vast's Haven 1 module in a February 2025 X post, calling it the future of off-world economy. Well, that's a big statement. Now, analysts see this as a bridge. SpaceX, Starlink for global internet, Stellar for orbiting payments, low bandwidth transactions in remote areas. A February 2025 Captain Altcoin, whoever you are, shout out to you, piece noted Musk and McCaleb's parallel P2P histories as a shared vision for borderless finance. Of course, this is all speculation. Now let's get into PayPal's deep integration with Stellar. Now then, in the PayPal era, Musk left PayPal in 2002 after the eBay merger, but the Mafia network alums like Thiel and Funding Crypto indirectly influenced Stellar's design as PayPal-like upgrades for global. They obviously saw what it was. As if you've used PayPal and you've used other networks and payment apps, you have to go PayPal to PayPal. Then they have to use a bank to offload it and off-bridge it. Now they want everything to move seamlessly. So it's like an upgrade to the P2P and person-to-person payment structure. That's what crypto is, in my opinion. Now, 2025, PayPal launched PYUSD, its USD stablecoin, on Stellar in June of 2025, pending U.S. regulatory nods. Now, obviously, that's active. This enables PayFi, payments and finance, for 10 million plus users with remittances, which we know Stellar is all about the remittances and attacking that strain on people's finances, 6 to 7%. They want to make it below 1% to save a ton of money for anybody that's sending money to and from their families in different countries and high-stress regions, with anchors to obviously cash it into real fiat or money in that region. They also want to focus on real-time loans and merchant settlements in 170-plus countries. PayPal's crypto VP, I'm not going to say the last name, praised Stellar at Meridian 2025, Stellar's Rio conference, for connecting TradeFi to blockchain. Now, why strong for X? X competes with PayPal but could leverage PYUSD rails without building from scratch, echoing Musk's history of acquiring and reusing tech from Twitter to X. Now, the ecosystem players aligning with X's vision, stronghold. A Stellar, as we know, SHX, a Stellar payment gateway processing 1 billion plus annually, rumored in September 2025 as X's background for creator payment payouts. ARF and MoneyGram. Stellar anchors for instant cross-border settlements. ARF uses USDC on Stellar for African remittances, scalable to X's global user base. Of course, Stellar wants to be in Africa. They want to be in Latin America. They want to be in Asia. They want to be absolutely everywhere. Soraban, obviously, with the launch in 2024 and the upgrade this past month with Protocol 23. It's a Rust-based for DeFi trading. It matches X's engineering stack. Rust is big at SpaceX and Tesla, so they use the same code. Regulatory edge. Stellar reps at CFTC's Global Markets Advisory Committee via Executive Candace Kelly since 2024 would be easing the U.S. compliance for X's licenses. So they've got a connection and rails for everything to come together and work together. Now, why this makes it possible? Stellar solves X's pain points. Scalability for 600 million users, offline with low data transactions via Starlink and TradeFi bridges, without Ethereum, trash, gas fees, or Solana, outages. Its cash-like crypto, per the Stellar Development Foundation, is ideal for a super app where payments feel native, not bolted on. So as you can see, a lot of good things that make this a natural fit. But again, this is all speculation. So I want to look at other blockchains that have similar or better connections to XMoney. I ask Grok, What are these companies? And is there anybody that does it better or potentially better than Stellar? Give me them. Obviously, the three that they picked. It says here, obviously, none match Stellar's combo of PayPal integration plus space energies. Ripple is the closest rival, which I'm down with Ripple. Solana, nah. Ethereum, trash. Lead in speed and ecosystem, but lack personal hooks. Now it says here, obviously, Ripple, Jed McCaleb co-founded it in 2014. Ripple pitched as a PayPal 2.0 in Musk era. It's U.S. Faster Payments Council nod alongside Stellar for instant settlements. You've got strengths. It's got cross-border focus, RippleNet in 70-plus countries, and on-demand ODL for liquidity, on-demand liquidity. Now you've got Solana. It's got no direct must-ties, but high TPS, 65K. I don't believe that, but they say that. I want to see somebody show me that. I honestly don't believe that. I think they're closer to what Sorbonne does, around 5,000 TPS, but I think that's just a hypothetical thing. Anyways, Solana, nah. PYUSD added in 2024. It's used for RWAs, $20 billion market per CME. I don't know why. I don't know. I guess they're doing meme coins and NFTs for you kids that are out there playing that game. Good for you. I don't know how many major institutions are doing their RWA tokenization on there. Again, not a Solana guy. But if you are, good for you, I guess it's got its place. It's got ultra-fast, low-cost, DeFi boom, obviously, which we just talked about. Ethereum, trash. And I say these things. Obviously, these are both major players. I just don't believe in the tech scaling at a global that I think that Stellar can, that I believe Ripple will. I just don't buy it. XDC, I believe, will. I just don't see people on that scale using them when their transaction speed is lower. You've got the, Solana's got issues when everything's up and running. It's crashed before. I believe that's just that for people and institutions that want everything to be smooth. It just feels like you can't have something like that happen and have the trust built in. It's kind of like, when you go and you fly on a plane and then all of a sudden they have problems, and they always miss their connection times or they never leave on time. You lose that trust, and I believe institutions don't want that kind of question in the back of their heads when they're running on a network. They want stability and they want things that are going to be reliable. And I believe Stellar is that. That's why we're talking. It's just an opinion. Now for Ethereum, trash. PYUSD launched here. It's got Musk's Tesla accepted ETH briefly in 2021. Layer 2s like Linea piloting Swift alternatives. Obviously, it's got the massive ecosystem, DeFi, NFTs, and RWAs. It's smart contracts for trading. Now, why not Stellar? Ripple, it says, it's a for-profit model versus Stellar's non-profit. Stablecoin adoption, no PYUSD equivalent, and weaker space ties. Similar, but Stellar edges on compliance tools. Now for Solana, nah. History of congestion, less payment specific, and no PayPal Michaela Bridges. Feels like a tech fit, not a relationship play. Ethereum, trash. It's got high fees, $1 to $10 a transaction. Eek, come on now, people. That is not the future. Not when you're dealing on this scale. It kills super speed app UX, scalability via L2s, but it's complex. It's better for devs, worse for everyday payments versus Stellar's simplicity. It says here, Ripple has similar Michaela groups, but Stellar's PayPal launch gives it the edge. Solana, nah. Ethereum, trash. Are better for raw speed and DeFi volume. I question that, but lack the personal regulatory narrative tying to Musk's orbit. All right, now let's talk about some of the key reasons and use cases that obviously Stellar has and the connection it has for bridging and XMoney, how they tie together, and potential for why they would want to use each other. Now we're talking about payments core, person-to-person transfers, merchant acceptance, remittances, stablecoins like PYUSD, and the USDC. Obviously, Stellar's got Circle. It's an issuer of USDC, enabling stablecoin-based person-to-person and merchant payments. It has MoneyGram, which would facilitate remittances and on-off ramps with Stellar USD for instant, low-fee transfers. These handle the core settlement layer, processing billions in volume annually. Now for XMoney, like we talked about previously, per DA, Stripe. It's deeply integrated with Stellar for payment processing. X recruited Stripe and PayPal engineers in 2025 to build tipping and person-to-person features, leveraging PYUSD on Stellar for volatility-free transactions. You hear that? X recruited Stripe and PayPal engineers. Stripe is deeply integrated with Stellar for payment processing. People, nothing's for sure, but come on now, bruh. All right, now Bitbit would extend this for creator payouts and in-app tipping via self-custodial wallets. Now we have the cross-border global reach, obviously, low latency for 600 million users, anchors for fiat on and off ramps, which we've talked about. Stellar has a ton of anchors, and Starlink-enabled offline low data. Obviously, MoneyGram and abroad anchors for real-time fiat conversions, crypto conversions in 170 plus countries, so it gives it a wide expanding reach, supporting low bandwidth remittances and cross-border flows. Abroad bridges USDC to global payment networks. Now, XMoney, obviously, which we talked about previously via DA, Visa Direct via Stripe partnership, enabling instant global settlements ties to X's 2020-25 expansion for emerging markets with Starlink for remote access. Pretty soon they're going to have Starlink everywhere. You're going to be able in the middle of the Sahara Desert and be able to get on the internet, people. This is going to be everywhere soon. And everybody in the world almost has a cell phone. So this is exactly how they're going to connect money and people. Cell phones, data, apps like this, everything else. It's in my opinion, it's the future. What do I know? I make $20 an hour. Do your own research. Obviously, this is my research. Hopefully, it's giving you some knowledge on it and making you think, hey, this could potentially be it. Or maybe you say it isn't. But you know what? You're here. Listen. You should always form your own opinion based off the information you have and do your own research and then, come back and in the middle or decide what you want to do. That's discourse. That's information. You should always process and not just take what somebody feeds you with a spoon. Be a critical thinker. Think about things on your own and process things and be that person who chooses what you feel is best for you. Now, AirTM would handle digital dollar accounts for 400 plus fiat methods in high growth regions like Latin America, of course. We talked about that in the previous videos yesterday. Latin America is a big spot that they are hitting hard. Stellar is. Now, 3 would be trading and investing, in-app stocks, crypto, ETFs, creator monetization, smart contracts, or DeFi like lending and staking, which we know Stellar, since the Sorobon Protocol 23 has been all about. Now, obviously, you've got Abra, which is a DeFi lending and borrowing platform for crypto trading and staking, and Franklin Templeton, which we've talked about, is tokenized money market funds on Stellar for ETF-like investments. Aha Labs provides Sorobon smart contract tooling for custom DeFi apps. Shout out to Sorobon. We love them. Now for X, this would be Humana Finance, which would be a PayFi protocol backed by the Stellar Development Foundation for yield-generating lending and staking on real payment flows like gig wages, and it integrates with X's creators economy for tokenized rewards, which I could see SHX also being in that. For rewards and everything else. This is, obviously Huma. I believe we talked about them too. Obviously they work with Stellar, so that's a big thing. But there's connections all over the place here. Nothing is for sure. This is all a guess, of course. Now, 6SR would power options tradings for in-app and crypto ETFs. Number 4, we've got compliance and security, KYC and AML, fraud detection, U.S. and EU regs like MiCA, which we know they are regulated with for Stellar. They are a compliance-heavy, compliance-based blockchain. They want to be compliant with everybody. Oracles for audits. Obviously, for Stellar, you've got Circle with regulated stablecoin issuer with built-in KYC and AML compliance tools. And you've got the SDS's native anchors for fraud-resistant oracles and real-time audits via Protocol 23 upgrades. Shout out to Protocol 23 and Sorobon. Obviously, for XMoney, we come back to it. Privy again for wallet management partner for embedded compliant self-custody using X's BitBit tipping for secure KYC verified transactions aligning with U.S. money transmitter licenses. Also, Paxios, which we've talked about in previous videos, which is a PYUSD issuer, adds Oracle-based audit trails for MiCA and EU compliance. They can go anywhere: Europe, US, Latin America, Asia. Stellar people. Come on now. I'm going to pour me a big glass of Kool-Aid after this video. Now, scalability and UX, which would be 100,000 plus TPS, seamless, no wallet swaps, layer 1 efficiency, and custody integrations. Now, Stellar is abroad, obviously we talked about, seamless fiat crypto bridges for UX, and AHA Labs Sorabon with Rust tooling for high TPS DApps and efficient integrations. Now for X, we've got Privy again with embedded wallets via Spark. There we go. Shout out to you, DA. BitBit stacks for frictionless onboarding. It matches X's Rust engineering for 100,000 plus TPS without swaps. Firebanks, we did a video on them, would be the custody provider and integrable with Stellar for enterprise scale security and X's beta launch. Beautiful thing here. All kinds of stuff just coming together. Now we're going to talk about the ecosystem expansions. We've got credit and debit cards, loans, insurance, tokenization of RWAs, which we know Stellar has been pushing real hard lately. Since that Sorbonne upgrade, they are going hard. Real estate, obviously shout out to SHX on that as well. SHX over in Japan, here talking real estate, everything else. I mean, they want to tokenize everything in the world too. Get it. Inoperability like Cosmos and IBC bridges. Obviously, you've got AirSwift with Stellar, crypto-enabled loans and business expansions, and Franklin Templeton again for the RWA tokenization for funds and insurance products. Now here, this threw me off a little bit. Zebek? Bruh? What? For payroll streaming payouts with Interop? We're going to come back to that. Now for XMoney, we've got Huma. Loans and credit via PayFi with RWA backing for insurance. You've got Cosmos, IBC for bridging to X's multi-asset vision. The Aon Group, a retail partnership for debit card acceptance in 20 million plus stores, tokenizing everyday RWAs. Now you've got data and privacy. You've got user analytics without big tech overreach, tokenized identity, and zero knowledge proofs, which we talked about with the upcoming Protocol 24. They are going to be based off ZK. That's going to be a big thing for these institutions. That privacy, that's coming. So that's going to be the next rollout, the next upgrade. Obviously for Stellar, you've got the SDFs is Sorabon. It enables ZK-proof smart contracts for privacy-preserving analytics. That's going to be big for institutions. And Tempo, which is an identity verification for tokenized IDs in emerging markets. So they're going to be able to identify you. They're going to, obviously, I know a lot of people, I don't want it. If you're doing business with people, you're making transactions with people and everything else, you don't want to be scammed. You want these people to be identified just like they can identify you with your bank card and everything else. Come on, it's just the way it's going to have to be. Anybody that thinks it's not, you know what I mean? Go to Never Never Land with Peter Pan. You know what I mean? It's just not the way that's going to work. They can't just let it be unknown to everybody. You just have so much. You've got drug dealers, you've got corruption and everything else. I'm not all for them completely monitoring everything. I get it. I'm not down with that. I'm not down with the World Economic Forum. I'm not down with the digital ID. I'm not down with that crap. And I could see the potential bad here, but I can also see it being really bad if it's just governless and it's just the Wild West too. So it's kind of a catch-22. I don't know what to say about that. Buy silver, not financial advice, but buy silver and hedge. Don't have all your eggs in one basket, even though Ball Deep's got all his in this, because that's just, Ball Deep, baby. So now we're going to go to Privy for XMoney. Secure, privacy-focused wallet management for tokenized user IDs. It integrates ZK for analytics without data leaks, fitting X's no overreach ethos via BitBit. Now, Circle's compliant tools add audited, anonymized data flows for global user insights. Now, going back to what they said about, obviously up there, about the connection, about Zebek for payroll and streaming. Obviously, that's Stronghold, right? That's what, and Stronghold's in heavy. So I went and I asked Gronk, I said, why would you say Zebek over Stronghold? And please explain to me how, knowing this, and which one you would still choose if knowing this information. And here's what they told me. Because I asked, I said, is Zebek even ISO 222 compliant? Because I don't think they are. Now, given your ISO point valid for X's regulatory scrutiny, I'd pivot to Stronghold SHX as the primary for point 6. It's the safer, more mature Stellar native fit. Full compliance ensures seamless TradeFi handoffs for loans and insurance. Strong RWA tokenization, e.g. escrows for real estate collateral, and interop via Sorabon without multi-chain overhead. It says the Beck shines for niche streaming, EWA RWAs, but SHX covers 80% plus of expansions with less friction, better for X's scale and Musk's ship fast, comply always vibe. That said, I'd recommend hybrid, an SHX core with a Zebek for pilots, for creator cards, whatever. If revising point 6, Stronghold SHX for compliant RWA lending and tokenization and interop, Zebek as streaming enhancer for dynamic cards and loans. Thanks for the push. It sharpens the analysis. You got it. Grok, I'm here to make you better, bruh. Anyways, obviously, shout out to Stronghold, Strata, SHX. I'm a big fan. I just couldn't, I guess I'm not as a bet guy when all the influencers started pushing it, and the company that, the guy who started it had that issues with the company before, kind of a rug pull thing. I don't know. It just gives me that bad vibe. But teach their own. I hope if you're in Zebek, you make money. I don't really know all that much more about it. They say it's going to be, I know when it was, Zebek or Stronghold, when they're both similar around the price, but nah, bro. I'm Stronghold all the way. I'm a Strongholder, my friends. Let's finish this up with this. If I had to pick one blockchain for all XMoney needs, Stellar, and why it's better, this is what Grok says. Stellar. It's the optimal single chain bet for X's holistic goals. Payments as at the spine with smart contracts as muscle. Now, why Stellar? Obviously, it's a payment-first DNA. It's built for what X needs, 80% of super app use, transactions with remittances, 3 to 5 second finality, which we touch on all the time, low fees, fractions of a cent, 170-plus country anchors, outpace rivals for global person-to-person merchant flows, PYUSD integration, slots in stablecoin seamlessly with no multi-chain mess. Again, Stellar does it all, people. Obviously, the super app scalability, it handles 1,000 plus TPS natively, upgradable via Sorbonne, which is now 5,000. Low bandwidth for Starlink users in emerging markets. Obviously, it doesn't take a lot of bandwidth, a lot of energy, versus Solana's, come on, 65K TPS, but real-world hiccups, I ain't buying that either. I'm not buying 65K. I'm sorry. Somebody prove it to me. Stellar's uptime is 99.9% since 2014, folks. Come on. Reliable. That's what it is. It's what it sells. It's who it is. You've got compliance and TradeFi Bridge. Obviously, you've got the native KYC and AML via Stellar Foundation's tools. Eases X's U.S. licenses, and then the CFTC rep positions it for regs. PayPal's PayFi Pilot show it blends crypto with banks, key for credit card and loans. Obviously, you've got the DeFi and the trading layer with Sorbonne. It's Rust-based. It's got the Protocol 23 upgrade, soon to be Protocol 24 for the ZK. Enables secure contracts for staking NFTs without ETH is $10 ETH trash. $10 gas or Solana? Nah. VM risks. Tokenized RWAs, e.g. ARF's 100 million plus pilots fits X's investment push. RWAs, tokenization people. Sorbonne coming for that ass. You obviously got McCaleb and Vast. Their SpaceX tie isn't fluff. It enables space economy payments, Mars colony transactions, echoes PayPal roots without the baggage. Now it's going to say why is it better than the alternatives. Obviously, you've got Y versus Ripple. It's Stellar's nonprofit and broader stablecoin support. PYUSD versus Ripple's ROUSD make it more plug and play for X's consumer focus Ripple excels and bank to bank, but feels enterprisey. Agreed. Solana, nah. Faster in burst, but Stellar's payment optimizes built-in DEX. Suit daily UX better than Solana's, nah. DeFi hype. No outages, stronger compliance for X's scale. Ethereum, trash. His ecosystem is unmatched for dApps, but fees / scalability kill affordability. Stellar is 100 times cheaper and faster for core transactions with L2-like efficiency out of the box. Like I always say, sorry Ethereum, but coming for that ass. But edge over multi-chain. One chain reduces complexity with no bridges and less hacks, and Stellar's interoperability with Cosmos covers gaps without diluting the focus. If X picks wrong, it fragments like Meta's failed Libra. Stellar unifies. Fast money today, tokenized everything tomorrow. Oh, I love that. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Bullish. XLM could 10x on adoption alone. There you go, people. That's why I pick it. That's why I love Stellar. It does a little bit of everything, and I believe it's going to do every damn thing well soon, like I think they do now. I think it's just, this is beginning. It moves in silence. It's been moving in silence. It's been laying that plumbing, the Mario brothers and plumbing's a game. That's what they're doing. They're laying that plumbing. They're out there building those rails. They are everything that X is looking for. Again, this is all speculation. None of this is financial advice, but everything is right there if you could see it, I want to say thank you for your time. Time is money. You spend it here, and hopefully you got some value out of that. This was all speculation, but it's fun to look at, right? It's fun to think about. It's fun to potentially say, why not? Stellar. XLM. Love it. That's all I got for today. I hope each and every one of you have a great day. And like I always say, chase a check, never chase a bit.